When you start using adult content for the first time, you tend to think that it's normal, it's okay, and it's not harmful, right? It's not harmful because you just did it once and everyone around you are using the same thing. But as you progress towards this one addiction, it becomes worse and worse to a point where you could actually remove yourself from this world. And this is actually the video that I'm going to make. But before talking about all of that, who am I? My name is Wesley, and my mission is to help prevent 1,000 men from killing themselves because of their addiction to adult content. Literally getting to suicidal thoughts because of this one addiction. These are my type of videos, and if that interests you, make sure you subscribe. Also, aren't you tired of feeling tired? You wake up in the morning and you are tired. You have no energy, you have no motivation, you don't want to accomplish anything. You have these big dreams inside of your head, these big goals of achieving things, creating a business, removing the need for your family to work for their life, right? Supporting your mom so that she doesn't even have to work anymore. She can stay at home and enjoy her life. But you have these big dreams, but you can't put in the effort, and the reason why is because of this corn addiction. Because you have it, this removes all your energy. You see this big down, this big crash that you have every time that you finish fapping. This becomes your reality, and because your brain becomes used, your body also becomes used to this situation, this big crash. It keeps on doing it every day and every day. So this becomes your regular mood. And that's the reason why when you wake up in the morning, you are exhausted. Imagine yourself if you would be actually doing things with a girl every single day for the past 7 years without taking any breaks, or sometimes just taking a break for 1 day or 2. You would be exhausted, right? Every day doing your hardest, taking the girl, putting her on the bed, the floor and everything, right? You would be exhausted, no energy, and that's what illusion you're creating in your brain when you are fapping every day to this. And sometimes you're not even fapping once, right? You're fapping twice, 3 times in the same day. So this is why you're actually so tired and your brain is so fatigued. So in order for you to actually quit this for good, you need to quit this for good. In order for you to not be tired, you have to take a long break, and taking this long break will make your brain healthy again, and it will create yourself some motivation and some energy to do actually things, to accomplish things, right? But in order for you to achieve that, you need to first put in the efforts and take the steps to actually search for help. Because maybe you tried to quit right now, you tried alone, but alone it's way harder, and you need help from someone that knows what he's talking about, from someone that actually went through your journey and keeps on learning, right? I keep on learning every strategy that there is so that I can occupy you, yes, you specifically, into your recovery. And when you're finally free from this, now you can choose, do I want to go back into my addiction, or do I want to stay free because I enjoy more the free side of it? Because right now you didn't taste the free side of it, you're only addicted. So in order for you to make a good, well-known decision, you need to first taste both sides of it, right? So if you're interested by actually getting free for real, for good, in the fastest time, first thing down in the description. On that, I continue directly with the video. So in every video, I keep on saying in my little intro, I help prevent men from actually getting to removing themselves from this world, right? And at first, you may think like, well, no, nobody does that, right? Because when you look at the rates of these things, right, you don't see, oh, people are removing themselves because of corn, right? It never happens. It's not in the stats. But it's because actually when you have stress leads to that, right? Corn accentuates the stress you receive, so it kind of participates in it, but it's not the only point, right? I'll kind of talk way more in depth about it. But you first of all have stress. That's the cycle, right? I'll do the cycle and after I'll explain every part of it. You got stress. When you have this stress, you tend, like everyone, to think about negative habits, negative bad habits, because they're easier to do, right? These can be social media, so that you don't see the time pass and you can't focus on your life while you're on social media. So if you're having stress, you're not happy with your life, right? Because you're having stress. You would much rather prefer not having stress at all right now. So you kind of go on social media, and this makes you forget about your current stress. So you think, oh, my stress isn't there anymore. So this is the solution. The same things apply with video games, making you escape reality. And that was a big part of my life before. Like 2-3 years ago, I was playing a lot of video games because I wasn't happy with my life. And that was my way of actually escaping my life. I thought I was happy, but I was happy only because I was playing a lot of video games. Corn is the same thing, and it's the same thing for every bad habit that you can think of. Drugs, alcohol, it's the same for everyone. So what happened is that because you go to a bad habit, the bad habit impacts your brain to a point where your brain, depending on the habit, isn't able to actually think clearly and manage your emotions clearly. It damages your brain to a point where, for example, stress, there is even more stress that's coming because your brain can't even manage it. And because of that, because the dopamine gets in your brain and impacts your brain so much that it actually changes some way of treating emotions in your brain, this leads to depression. You kind of have depression, and because of what? Because of constantly doing a bad habit. And you know inside of you that right now your life isn't like you want it to. Maybe right now you were having big dreams of having this one car, and you know that in order for you to receive that car, if you keep on doing what you're doing right now, it will take you 15 years. And you know there could be faster path, right? You have regrets, you have stress every day, you have lots of things happening in your life, and all of this impacts your brain, but because it's unhealthy, it's unable to actually treat it right. So this often leads to depression. And the fact that you're constantly doing this bad habit leads to depression because it becomes an addiction. And when you have this addiction, you feel like your life isn't worth living without it, right? When, for example, I'll take Kern because it's my specialty, right? It's the specific thing I like to actually talk about and help people with. When you're in this corn addiction, what happens? You feel like every day you need your dose of it. Every day, at least once, you need to go and watch adult content on your phone. You need to go to the bathroom and spread your load. Wow. So, what happened? After a specific time, or after you doing for over and over for years and years, what happened? You need more of it. And on that, I actually explain you a story. When you first started corn, maybe you were like me, right? You just started. For me, for myself, I started because I heard friends talking about it, and I thought it was like not funny, right? But I just was kind of interested, right? I'm a curious person, and I like to know things. I really like to know things. So what happened? I was hearing that, and I was like, oh, I don't know that, so I want to know what that is. So I kind of started making researches, but even at that point, I didn't even know really it was what, right? I just heard it. But I already knew that it wasn't something you were doing with family, right? It was something you were doing alone. So already I'm not even addicted, and I'm already isolated from everyone. I'm already isolating myself because I know that it's shameful and guilt. It can create guilt just by doing that. I'm not even addicted at that point. So just imagine the shame and the guilt that you're feeling right now that you are addicted, when even when you're starting, you already know that it's shameful to do that, right? But you're still doing it because I want to know, right? So in my case, I wanted really to know, so I was kind of doing it. But it's crazy to think that even at this point, I'm not even addicted. I never watched a single video, and I already know that I have to hide myself from others in order for me to practice this, which is fucked up. So then I do that, and what happened? I liked it, right? Like probably every guy that keeps on doing it. At first, you liked it. And then a process starts in your mind. You tell yourself, if I liked it, why would I don't do it like literally like 3 days in the future, right? Basically, if I like it, why not do it again? So this is the first process, and it's not harmful, right? It's just something like you're human, you think about it. So this is the start of your addiction. What happened? You thought, oh, it's kind of fun, it's kind of cool, and I feel the pleasure because at first your brain is healthy, so this is a good pleasure for him. But the pleasure that you're giving him is a bad pleasure, because with time it will become an addiction, and with this addiction your brain becomes less and less healthy. So every time you're practicing this pleasure, your brain becomes less healthy, and all of that because you want to feel pleasure, and it's bad pleasure. So what happened? 3 days goes by, 4 days goes by, and now you think something makes you think about this again, and you're saying to yourself, oh, I remember I just fucked, like I liked it. So you go and do it again. Now it's already 2 times in the same week. You go by another week, you don't do it. Now you restart to think about it and you go do it again. And every time you liked it because you're only doing it once every week. So it's kind of enjoyable. You continue this way, but now you start to do it a little bit more every day. So a little bit more in the same week, I mean. So instead of just doing it once a week, you start doing it 3 times a week. Then over time again, it becomes 5 times a week. Then it becomes every day. It may take years, right, to go there, because maybe you started and you were only doing it once a month. But you inevitably, if you don't stop your current addiction, you will get to that point where you are at every day. Minimum, you're doing it once a day. Now at that point, some people go deeper than others. Some people stay at once a day, every day. Some people go way deeper because they want to feel even more pleasure. And at a point, what happened is that one video, at first when you started, it was enough, right? You just watched the first video, maybe that pops up in your site that you chose, and you watched it and you came in like 5 minutes, right? Then what happened? Now that it's been like 2 years that you're doing it, you need more than just one video, right? You don't just open the site and the first video you click on it and you go, no. Now you have favorite girl that you like to watch. You're lining up tabs for multiple videos because now you know that you're able to do one full video and not even coming. So sometimes you need, right now, 3 videos, and it's only been 2 years, right? You need 3 videos to have 3 times the pleasure in order for you to come. And people rationalize that saying, oh, it's because you're kind of getting better with doing it. You're kind of getting better of retaining your semen. But that's really not what's happening. It's your brain becoming unhealthy to a point where just one video of over-exaggerated corn stuff is not even able to make you come anymore. So that's the point where you're going right now. Now that was just 2 years, but now 4 years, 5 years goes by. You're maybe, I don't know, 20 right now. You started at 15, you're 20. And what happened? Now you can't even, you need 10 to 15 videos in order for you to come. What happened? You watched so many videos over these past years that you open up the site and most of the videos in the first page, you already seen them, right? You need to search now for your videos. So it's gotten to a point where you're not even looking at the page anymore. You're keeping names inside of your brain so that you can search on the site the names of the things that you want to watch, right? So every time you're doing this, you're obligated to search and click other pages because you already watched maybe all the first pages. That's the craziness of it. And while years pass by, the content that you're watching is getting deeper and deeper. At first, maybe you just watched a couple fucking each other, right? It was kind of soft content, amateur, right? And then what happened? You start to go deeper and deeper into the dark stuff. You start to watch maybe hardcore content. You start to watch maybe gangbangs. You start to watch even deeper than that. I won't mention because it's YouTube and I don't really know what's good and bad to say on YouTube, right? But you get what I mean. Maybe right now you are part of them. I don't know, right? I don't know your current situation. And if I would know it, I would really want to help you. But I can't make this step for you. But I'm sure you know and you get what I mean, right? I stopped. I was grateful. I'm really grateful right now that I stopped before getting to that low. But there's people that are stuck to this deep. Because at a point, you see, you started from one video and now you need multiple videos to come. But the type of videos you're watching are also upgrading to a point where in order for you to make your thing hard, you need such hardcore savage stuff. at first, just seeing a pair of boobs, and you were already hurt. Now you can see the girl getting fucked by a dude, and what happened? You're just there, and you're not even like hurt. You need another video because the girl isn't attractive enough for your eyes. So that's like the type of, not recovery, but protection that you're developing yourself, and it's not great, right? You can kind of visualize that right now, if a girl would be naked in front of you, you would kind of see her and not even get hurt if she's not really attractive, right? If she's not a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. And you may actually right now think, oh no, that's not me, right? But I'm just saying, right? I kind of have experience on that. It's not for myself, right? I'm meaning experience from my clients. Me, I didn't get to that point, and I'm happy that it didn't happen to me, as I didn't went to so many years and so low of that stuff. But I'm talking with a lot of people, and I sometimes hear people telling me that. And I once heard someone that actually told me, oh, I always thought it was not me. So he kind of took the time to mention the fact that he always thought it wasn't him, and it wasn't ever going to be him until the point where it happens to him. So erectile dysfunction is really a thing, for sure, but it can really happen because of that, and you're not like free of it, right? So might as well just quit before it really happens to you. And every time you fight yourself, think about it, you're taking a chance to actually getting to that point where you have a full-on beautiful woman by your side. She's the mother of your you want her to be the mother of your children, but you can't even do things with her because your thing can't get hard. Like, visualize actually the shame. You're there, your girl is there, you really love her, but you can't actually do things with her because she doesn't attract you to a point where she can replace the content adult videos that you're watching and you were watching for the past like 10 years. That's the point where it becomes. So now we can kind of see how it leads to depression. Depression leads to you not enjoying life anymore. You feel like the only pleasure you can have in your life is when you're actually fapping. So what happens? You're at work and what you're thinking, oh, I can't wait to go back home. So it's always go back home because that's the start of your actually addiction, right? You don't sometimes people tend to directly think about their current session, but that's not really what happens unless you're really deep inside your addiction. But what happens is that at first your brain thinks kind of positively, so he doesn't think, oh, I'll stay home and I'll go and fap, right? He just think, oh, I want to go home, but you know that at home you're going to fap. So it kind of indirected the thing to that. And sometimes people also do something like similar. You have something to do, an event to participate, and what happened? You say, oh no, I want to stay home, I want to stay alone, I don't want to go. What happened when you stay home? You go and fap. Major part of the time you're alone in your house. Maybe you had a movie to go and watch with your family, but you decided to stay home so that your family can go and watch the movie because you thought, oh, I don't really like the movie, it's not really like that great of a movie, and I much rather stay at home, maybe play video games. But what happened when you really stay home? You go and fap. You're alone in the home, nobody can catch you, so you decide, oh, I'll go and fap before actually playing video games. So if you really think about it, you decided to skip the movie that you were going to watch with your family to fap. But you really never realize that until someone, the right person, tells you this, right? And it's maybe not even me, right? It's maybe sometimes you hear things coming from people and they don't touch you, but you hear the same thing coming from another person and it really impacts you to a point where like it actually changed your life, right? Something like that really happened to me. I was talking with my sister about something and she was telling me kind of an advice about my life, and I was kind of saying like, oh, great, cool, and I was considering my life and it didn't impact me. And like 2 days after that, I was on my phone searching for a video it was like 2 years ago, and I heard a video of someone actually telling this almost the same thing, right? It's just other words, but it's the same thing. And it really impacted me, and I was like, wow, like it's such a great way of thinking, and I actually applied it in my life. I don't remember specifically the thing, but I remember that it happened. And that's just to illustrate the thing that I'm saying to you. Just me telling you something may really impact you, or may not impact you as much as if you hear it from another person. But the point is just that some people will be impacted by what I'm saying right now, and this will change their life. They may recover completely from their addiction, and that's like, I'm really grateful if that happens. Like, I'm glad for you. And if that not happens, well, maybe you'll realize something and actually make a decision that will change your life. In the case of current addiction, so much dopamine comes in your mind that this becomes your new like baseline, right? And in order for you to reach that baseline of dopamine, you need corn. Because nothing else can bring you as much dopamine as corn, right? Usually, you're supposed to get dopamine from doing work, right? Right now, I'm recording this video, and in my brain, an healthy brain is supposed to gain dopamine from that. Just because I'm making content, right? It's work, yes, but in my mind, I'm accomplishing something important for me. So this is bringing me dopamine. But when you're addicted to an unhealthy habit, any unhealthy habit, your brain gets so much dopamine from your addiction that the dopamine that you get from work is too low. So you don't even gain any dopamine from doing it, and you only see it as boring, right? Because everything in your life is boring in comparison to corn, for example. Corn is like, I don't remember the stats exactly, but I think it's like 250% of the dopamine that you need. It was a stat like that. I don't remember where I saw it. It was on internet, right? But I don't remember the specific source. But like, it's so big of an impact, so big of a dopamine peak, like dopamine strike, that in order for you to feel happy, your brain kind of needs always more dopamine, right? If you keep the baseline always at the same level, you will always be happy. But when you go too high, your baseline goes from there to there, because it kind of does tack, so it kind of lift it up, and the baseline is what you need to be happy. But because you're kind of always giving more and more dopamine spike, you raise up your dopamine levels, the minimum that you need to be happy. And at a point, what happens is that what you do in your life, if you don't fap, is not even reaching this new baseline. So you're not even happy. So you feel now that you need corn in order to be happy, but it's because you rose your levels to a point where without them, you don't feel happy. Right now, I can tell you, it's been a year and a little bit more that I'm free from this officially. What happened? I can go outside, just walk outside, and I will feel happy walking outside. That's giving me dopamine, because I don't have dopamine from anything else, right? I don't watch TV, I don't play video games, I don't watch corn, I don't drink, I don't smoke. Like, I have nothing as a bad habit in my life. I'm working out also, and I'm doing sports, and I'm doing my things, right? I'm grateful for that type of life, but I'm also grateful that I managed to actually quit all of these bad addiction. And because of that, I have actually an healthy brain. So what happened? I find joy in little things, right? When I'm doing meditation, I find it cool. I find cool meditation. What I thought in my life that at a point I would feel like meditation is cool, no. 2 years before, when I was still addicted, what happened? I was trying meditation, and meditation was really bad, right? I was bad at meditation because I couldn't do it every day. I felt like it was really boring. And why was it boring? Because I had corn on the side, right? So corn, I had the choice between corn to feel big pleasures and dopamine hit and everything, or sitting legs crossed and thinking about nothing. Like, it was sure I was choosing that, right? But I was sure I was choosing that at that time. Now, if I had to take a choice, it's mindfulness every day, right? It's meditation every day of the week. I'm not watching any type of thing like that. And now my brain is healthy. I find joy in reading. I find joy in everything. But when you have an unhealthy brain and you have so much dopamine that it raises your baseline levels, you don't enjoy life. Life doesn't bring you any value, but the point of you maybe continuing your addiction. So life only is able to make you continue your addiction. So there is no point in living life but you fapping every day. It becomes to a point where it is that. And on that you have to actually trust me because I'm talking with a lot of people. But I'm telling you, it becomes to that point really. And it didn't happen to me, right? As I said, I'm grateful I quit before. But it happens to people. I see stories sometimes on internet of people actually telling things like that, right? They are at a point where they need 3 sessions a day. 3 sessions a day. Imagine a session is maybe 1 hour. 3 hours a day of them constantly fapping to hardcore stuff like they're deep inside of it, right? They tell about it on their Reddit and things like that, right? But like they're deep inside of it to a point where they're obligated to do that and they don't even feel pleasure from it anymore. Because as I said, you need more and more videos, but at a point you can't go and do like 15 videos in the morning, 15 videos at the dinner, 15 videos before going to bed. At a point you watched every single videos and you're so addicted to it that if you rewatch a video that you already watched, you're not even getting any pleasure from it. And at a point you watched almost every single video, right? The video just came out and you already watched it. Like it's that bad. So you kind of need new sites. And now at a point you know every site. So like you get kind of rid of it, but not in a good way. You need this pleasure, but you can't achieve it. So this makes you turn to another addiction in order to complete this addiction. And it becomes to that point, until a point where you're not even there anymore. Your brain is so fucked up that you can't even make good decisions and you choose to actually remove yourself from this world. I saw someone actually doing this. It's not really cool, but like he was deep in that. And what happened? He turned to another thing. He was kind of smoking now and also doing alcohol. And what happened? At a point, you have alcohol addiction. He was drinking a lot, smoking addiction, a lot of drugs, and porn addiction. Like it was so bad that he didn't even get any pleasure from his life. He wasn't having any pleasure. And trying to get this person out of it when this person doesn't even listen to you, right? At that point, I wasn't even knowledgeable, right? I just heard this story. But like, imagine this type of life. Like, how miserable does he feel? The shame and the guilt of trying to quit and not even being able. So instead of trying to quit, going in even deeper and deeper. And this is why I actually chose this topic, right? Trying to remove the killing aspect of it. I don't want you to get to the point where you feel like the only answer to your life is actually stopping living, right? Life is so great and there is so much things that you can accomplish that there is no point in you actually removing yourself and not being able to enjoy it, right? My goal is that because I want to remove these people from removing themselves. I want to get these people free because nobody deserves to die, right? You don't deserve right now to be in this addiction. And if you would have known that starting this one first peak of it would start your addiction, you wouldn't have started, right? Right now, yes, okay, I was feeling pleasure at first, but what happened? Maybe 15 years of addiction right now, right? I know people, I talked to them at a point in my life, right? They have 35 years of addiction. 35. Like, if you really think about it, 35. And they're still trying to quit. 35 years of addiction. Do you want to get to that point? Imagine your life being at like 85 and it's been like 75 years that you were addicted. Okay, maybe not. You start at 10. I don't really... It's possible, right? There's people that start at 10 and that's okay. But let's say you start at 15. It's like 70 years, right? 70 years of addiction to that, or you much rather just get free. Because at a point, what happened when you go alone, I see this a lot. People try to go alone, they go and try to quit in 1 year and it doesn't work. Try 2 years, doesn't work. 3 years doesn't work, and now they give up. They give up after 3 years. Maybe the first one would be the great one. And what is the typical error? It's that they don't have support, right? They have nobody to actually ask questions and things like that. They go on internet and look at everybody's advice. They look at everybody's strategy. So what happened? You see, oh, okay, when you have the urge, do push-ups. Oh, okay, if you always have something to do in your life, you will never have the time to go and fap. That's such a bad advice, right? If you always have something to do in your life, okay, you won't fap, but you still have the urge. You will create yourself a time to go and do it. Like, that's so bad of a way of thinking about it. I also saw a strategy was something like desexualizing your brain to a point where you feel like corn isn't helping you. It was something like that, and that doesn't really work also. There was another thing, it was like doing sports, these are great things, but this alone won't help you. You have to make the mindset shift. The mindset shift is what's preventing you from actually breaking through that. And people tend to go 3 years with only willpower. I will quit, I'm able to quit, and they try to go like against their brain. Your brain dictates your action because your desires dictate your actions, and your actions dictates your habits because the action you're taking is towards your habits, and your habits dictate your life. The habits you have in your life will say what kind of life you will live. If you have good habits, a good life will come true. If you have bad habits, you're not doing anything, you're just smoking and drinking, you will have a life that goes with that, right? You may have lots of friends because maybe you drink socially and you smoke socially with friends that also does that, but are they real friends? Even if they are real friends, do you accomplish something with your life? What are you doing? Like, you're wasting so much time on something that's not even great, and that's only making your brain unhealthy. So that was really my view, and I heard a lot of people telling me that I'm not explaining why I'm saying in every video I help prevent 1,000 men from killing themselves because of this current addiction, things like that, right? I keep on saying that. So I thought to myself, they're right. I need to make a video on it. So this was really my take and my video on why this leads to removing yourself from this world. It happens to people. They're just not talking about it, right? Nobody's talking about this because it's not the direct link. The direct link is a lot of time emotional, right? It's depression, stress, anxiety. These are like top 3 reason why you're removing yourself. And gambling addiction, things like that, right? But it's either addiction, so it's either it directly says addiction, but current addiction isn't really part of it, right? It's gambling addiction. But a lot of times the real reason you're removing yourself is emotions. It's not a discipline, sorry. It's depression, stress, anxiety. These are the top 3, and when you have these, this leads oftentimes, if it's not always, to depression. Unless, right, you treat it, right? And people don't remove themselves because they have depression. But they have depression, and sometimes it leads to that. Anyway, I'm sure you understand. On that, I'll actually ask you to take care of yourself, and I love you.